Let's see. Ready? Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. We are back with part 2 of the FAQ for SNU and student exchange.
Yep.
Yeah, and Korea. We are going to talk about settling down as an SNU exchange student, the lectures, like how classes are taught, what are the requirements and stuff, and also dormitory, which I've received loads of questions about. So I think the section about the dormitories is going to be very interesting because I lived in the dorms, but Sally lived elsewhere.
Yeah.
She applied for her own housing. So let's start off with trying to like read through the questions. So we're going to start with talking about the lectures. I said this in the previous part. Courses are taught in both English and Korean. Some of the Korean students are required to take English courses, right?
I think they say like 7?
7?
Was it 7? 7 classes throughout their whole like SNU.
7 English classes?
Yeah.
Oh wow, okay. I thought it was like 1 per semester or something.
Oh. Yeah, 7
I'm not
English
sure.
class.
We both picked English taught courses. You're gonna have to like go through all the lists because before I was able to see the actual list of what was going to be available, like the courses, I was expecting to pick specific ones, but then they weren't available. Like I wanted to pick PR, for example, but the semester I went to didn't have it, so
yeah, like a lot of the classes that you want to take are like in Korean and they aren't taught in English, so you can't take that.
So even though like you spoke with your home like institution saying that you're gonna pick specific ones, that might change, and you're gonna have to contact them and ask them if it's okay. My uni was really lenient. I ended up like studying random courses. I major in sociology and media studies. I ended up learning about child development. I picked that simply because it was kind of easy. Sorry, I'm a bit sick. I also picked Anthropology of Media, Korean Language and Culture. That was a very, very interesting course, and I think it's available during most semesters. And then there was one other one, something to do with fashion and marketing. So yeah.
I think for me, I mostly took business class since I'm a business major. The business like department and SNU are really lenient towards exchange student because they allow you to like submit like an override form. So let's say you want to register for like a certain class, but by the time you get to register, which is very late for exchange students by the way, the class gets like filled up really quickly.
It's really competitive.
Yeah, it's really competitive. So like once you get to register, you like there are no space left. But then the good thing is that they like let you turn in the form and you just like get the professor's signature and you get to be in the class. So it's really good.
Yeah,
and
I remember it was really scary trying to apply for the courses because you do it all online, and because there's that time difference, you have to make sure you go online at the right time, and it's a very, very confusing website. So you gotta like make sure you kind of know your way through the website. And say for example the class that you want to sign up to is filled, like she said, you can fill in a form and hand it in. But I think it's I think it's best if you email the professor that's teaching that course first. Before like you go into class and hand it in. I need water.
And I think I took mostly business class, but my university allowed you to take like other random classes as well. But for me, it's like I have to take 4 classes at least, like minimum is 4 classes. And I think for the first semester I took all 4 business class, but then for the second semester I took 2 business class. 2 business class and 2 like Korean related class, like Korean music, and there's like a Korean history class.
It's funny because I originally applied for both of those classes, which I then dropped, so I never had any classes with Sally.
How are your classes like? Are they mostly like exams or like projects?
Yeah, most exams. Every single course had a group project, group presentation to be precise, and I hated those. Anthropology of Media was very essay-like, and we had to do discussions and loads of group work. I think we did 3 different group works and stuff. So if you're not into group works, tough.
Yeah.
You're gonna have to deal with it. But like I mentioned earlier, the Korean language and culture class, really, really fun. It's taught by Charles, which is, he's like an American professor who moved there like years ago, and he got married to a Korean woman. So he's a really fun guy, he's really chill. Yeah, so definitely recommend that course.
I think for like business is also the same. There are a lot of group work and a lot of presentations, and exams are like midterm and like final. Yeah, but like Nicole said, if you don't like working with people or you don't like group work, then that's a bit hard. Yeah, yeah, there are like a lot of group work, so you have to deal with these people.
Yeah, and sometimes you might be put with Korean students who aren't very good at English, or like you're not good at Korean or whatever, but I'm sure you guys will figure it out. I find that a lot of the Korean students are very hard working, so they tend to help you out a bit more. But with that said, don't take advantage of them, obviously. Do your part as well. Oh, I also noticed that we are required to do a lot of readings, weekly readings and stuff. Which, I mean, at my home institution, I usually don't read things unless I really need to.
Well, I don't read.
Did you read much?
No. Oh. I'm supposed to, but I don't really. But I try.
Okay, so I think we covered most of the things to do with courses and classes and lectures. So now let's talk about settling down as an SNU exchange student and like dormitory stuff. I have a dorm tour video in case you guys haven't seen it before, and there are loads of questions, like comments in this. Loads of questions in the comment section below, so which I've replied to, so you guys can like have a look there as well. But someone asked me like quite a few questions in one comment, so I'm gonna read that out.
Hello, may I ask a few questions? Number 1, how much is the cost? Do we pay that per month or year? Can we choose if we want to stay alone or have a roommate?
For my dorm, I stayed in 919A, which is one of the nicer dorms out of the undergrad dorms, and that costed me 528,000 won plus £100, not £100, 100,000 won deposit, and it's for 1 semester. So you pay your deposit before you move in, you get that back out after you move out, and then you pay the like 528,000 as soon as you move in. You can't choose to stay alone, you will definitely get assigned a roommate.
I think there aren't any like single rooms in SNU dorms.
No.
So you're most definitely going to have a roommate no matter what.
Yeah, and they usually put 1 Korean roommate with 1 exchange student. It's usually like that. But then, you know Jenia, she lived with Caro and they were both exchange students.
Oh, so, that's interesting.
Yeah, and also Michael, he lived in the graduate dorms, which is so much nicer, but it's more expensive. And he didn't get assigned a roommate until much later.
Oh, so he pretty much had the whole room to himself.
Yeah, for quite a while. So I think it really depends, but you will end up with a roommate one way or another. Are there any rules if we stay at the dorm? Yes, they are pretty strict about it. We get female dorms and male dorms. It's a conservative country, so...
And you guys have like the code to enter the dorm.
Yeah, you have like this wrist thing to enter your own building.
Which that was really weird.
Yeah, you have to like type in your PIN and then like put your wrist through, and then it kind of like scans it, and then you enter the building. And then once you get into the building, you go to your floor, and then you have to like type in your own PIN, and then you have a lock to your own actual room with your roommate as well. But the lock on my door never worked, so I just left that unlocked. They also have weird visiting hours. I can't remember what they were exactly, but I think on the weekdays you weren't allowed any visitors until after 5 PM. People get quite weird when you bring in the other gender into your dorm. So please ask your roommates if that's okay before you invite people around.
I remember like I think it was during finals week. Kelsey, she let me into her like dorm room, and because like we're all studying, like because we were in the same class, and she was like, oh Sally, you can just like, you know, sleep over at my dorm place. I was like, okay, and I was like, oh, are you sure? It's like, that's okay. And I think like at that time it was already really late, so then the visiting hour is already over.
Yeah.
But then like it seems like her other roommates didn't mind, so they just kept it a secret. I just slept on a sofa.
Oh, you actually stayed.
Yeah.
Kelsey was in a room like directly below mine.
Oh yeah.
And I remember when I found out, I was like knocking on the floor like, hello, Kelsey! When was that? First semester or second?
Second semester.
Oh.
Yeah. I think we were studying for the Korean history class. Or
Which
something.
you guys didn't even go to.
Yeah. But
Don't know how she
yeah.
passed. I think on a weekend the visiting hours were a bit different, a bit more relaxed, but I can't remember what times. Not only that, if you use hair straighteners or curlers, you have to get them checked by the, what do they call them? The people that kind of like help
resident
students.
manager?
Yeah,
Resident
something
assistant,
like that. I can't remember what they're called.
Floor.
Yeah, you get like assigned 2 people per building. Yeah, so you gotta get like a sticker for your hair straighteners or something, and then you can use it. This is a funny question.
I watched another girl's dorm tour from SNU. Hers looked exactly like yours, and she said that you cannot flush toilet paper in Korean toilets.
So, this was something I worried about so much before I moved in, because I believe I watched the same video. I think it was Steph's video. She was in semester 1.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah,
Did you meet her?
Yeah, I met her. She actually made like a speech during our, what was that?
Farewell?
No, it was like the orientation.
Oh.
Yeah, for
Oh yeah, because she
information.
went the semester before you.
Mm.
Yeah. I think it could depend on your dorms, or maybe they got things changed when I joined, but flushing toilet paper down the toilet was fine. I think just try not to put too much in there.
Yeah, I think, I don't know, I guess toilets in Korea in general
very
is like,
weak.
yeah, it's very weak.
The
so
sewage system isn't great.
there's always like a sign that says, do not flush paper down, and blah blah blah.
Yeah. And I think Korean toilets are a bit strange in general.
Yeah.
Like, you get ones where you get like buttons on the side of the toilet.
Buttons?
Yeah, remember, where was it? Oh, can't remember. But there was like a pub.
buttons?
Yeah, it's like a really big toilet seat. And then they have like buttons on the side.
Oh, in SNU's business,
Oh.
like building, like the bathrooms, yeah, we get those.
Yeah.
Or maybe like 1 or 2.
I remember
Fancy toilet.
I went to a place that had one of those like fancy toilets, and I didn't know how to flush it. Turns out there was
there's
like
a
button at the back.
yeah.
Yeah, so you have to like put the lid down, and then you would see the button. So, in case you get stuck with how to flush toilets.
What would you say had this semester cost you in average? Only taking education and living into calculation.
Well, to be honest, the dorms, to me, it's very cheap.
Yeah.
But let's talk about Sally's living experiences, because she didn't live in dorms.
So, I didn't want to stay in SNU's dorm because one reason was it was kind of small, and I saw like other videos on YouTube. I was like, it's really small, and personally, I don't like sharing bathrooms with people. So, and I was like, oh, SNU only has like, you know, rooms you have to like share with people.
Yeah.
And number 2 is because I kind of want to like explore, you know, Seoul, and I want to live by myself. So instead of applying for the dormitory in SNU, I actually looked on Airbnb. I know Airbnb is like only, like most people know it's like for traveling.
Yeah.
But you can actually, you know, book long-term housing.
And I think sometimes if you book for a long time, they might
They
make
give
it
you
cheaper.
like discounts and stuff. So for me, the first semester I got a place. It's like an apartment. So I shared it with like this Korean couple. They're married, and so I got my own room. I got my own bathroom, but we shared the living room area and the kitchen area. So that was how I lived in the first semester. But then the second semester, I got my own like apartment place.
It was so cute. She let me live with her after the semester.
Yeah.
Thank God.
Yeah, and the living cost is definitely a lot more expensive because of course it's like, you know, not the dormitory. So I remember the first semester I had to pay like around 700 something US dollar, which is like around
700,000 won?
Yeah, like 700,000 won, around there per month. So if you like calculate it, that's
compared to like the 600 something thousand won
for the
like,
whole semester. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's definitely a lot more like pricier. And for the second semester, it's a lot more expensive because it's like my own place. and it's like in the newly built kind of building.
Yeah, it was a very nice apartment.
And I had to pay for my own electricity and like, you know, utility bill. So it's very expensive. It's very expensive.
Just like repeating that.
Yes.
Definitely loved the aircon.
Yeah,
at your
and
place.
there's like heater and the view. Oh my god, the view of the Han River, which explains why it's quite expensive.
Oh yeah, it was beautiful. Like I will insert a clip.
Yeah. Do you like, even though it's really expensive, I like don't regret anything because it's definitely a like really good experience to live by myself.
Yeah.
In like my own place.
It's just comfortable.
Yeah. It's just that it's really far and I'm very slow and I'm always late to class and I'm late to everywhere. Because where I live, it was like in Tangsang Station, which is like 9 stops away from Seoul National University Station.
But the good thing is it's 2 stops away from Hongdae. So that's a partying place for uni students.
Yeah.
You go to Gangnam if you want to go to like the higher end clubs.
Yeah.
But Hongdae is the place to go. Has a special place in our hearts. I guess you kind of get what you pay for with the dormitories because Lauren, our friend Lauren lived in dorms as well, but she lived in like the not so nice dorms. It was like one where you had to share the bathroom with the entire floor.
Oh.
Yeah, so it's kind of like a public bathroom thing, and she literally only had a room to chill in. She didn't have like a nice living space like I did, like a living room. And yeah, it kind of sucks to have a roommate. I've never had a roommate before, so when I had one it was really weird.
Yeah.
But luckily for me, I had a nice roommate. She did get quite loud sometimes and she did keep the lights on during like stupid hours. But overall she was really lovely, and yeah, I guess if you get a bad roommate, you just kind of have to...
I heard like a lot of different stories. So some people get like lucky, they get a really good roommate. Others get like a roommate that doesn't shower, doesn't clean, and has like a bed full of like clothes and like...
Actually, that's funny because my roommate had like so much random stuff in her bed.
I remember like there's like a pair of scissors.
She had scissors in her bed. I don't know why, but she basically like put everything there.
Yeah.
But she was there. She had been living there for a long time, couple of years I think. She was in her final year of university. So yeah, and we also had to like share the cleaning responsibilities. So you have to clean the bathroom as well, which is really disgusting. You kind of have to chip in to buy like cleaning stuff and like toilet paper. But I don't know. Overall, I think I had a good experience living in the dorms. I think it just made things really easy to travel to uni. Yeah. Even though the uni is on a mountain and it was so tiring walking to classes. All them stairs though.
Yep. I guess that's like sometimes when usually or like for Snowbuddy they would have like office pub around SNU station.
Yeah.
And Nakseongdae. And it's like most students dorm or they would get a place around SNU station.
What are the those places called? If it's not dorms.
Goshwon?
Yeah, Goshwon. A lot of people got those. So it was really cool having loads of people live in the dorms because we could all just take the taxi back. Like taxi from Nakseongdae or SNU station costed 3,000 to 5,000 won.
Really
and you
cheap.
Split that between like a couple of people.
That's like
yeah. It's cheaper than taking the bus, and obviously buses stop running after like 12 I think. But if you're going to be living at the dorms, you know for sure that you're going to be chilling in either Nakseongdae or SNU all the time.
Yeah, that's like one thing that I kind of like didn't like when I stayed at my own place because I live really far. So whenever, you know, people would be like, okay, let's go home, they would have people, you know,
to travel with.
Yeah. But for me, costs. It's like I had to like take my own cab and stuff, which was okay. I got used to it, but then my other friends are like, oh my god, you have to pay for a cab fee, like so expensive, blah blah blah. I'm like, yeah.
I think it really well, not really, but it kind of sucked during like term times and stuff. But then when uni was over and all we did was play, it was a really good location.
Yeah.
Because it's holiday. Yeah. So I think this video has dragged on for a long time, and I hope we managed to, you know, answer questions that you guys asked. I'm really glad that Sally's here to answer your questions, because obviously different perspectives. And yeah, that's about it. So anything else you want to say?
I miss Korea.
Me too. Okay, so that's all for this video. Thank you guys for watching. If you have any more questions, feel free to drop them down below or message me or Sally. I'll have her like social media links down below.
Oh no.
Wait, no, it's just Instagram, isn't it?
Yeah, I only have Instagram.
Okay, I'll put Instagram down below, and I'll speak to you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.